How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Fate Stay Night Remastered. Very, very crazy episode in the last, for our last episode. And it's not because there was a whole bunch of things that happened. It was more so of what we learned. We got confirmation about the shadow, where the shadow is stemming from, which, of course, we knew that there was some sort of connection with it and Sakura, as well as there also being a connection with it and the Holy Grail. But now we know where we currently stand with everything. We kind of got like corrected on the fact that Zoken doesn't really have like a pull or really a hand in things with the condition that Sakura is in. That's just how things, currently are. Things have gone to a point where he doesn't really have anything to do with, how she's gotten worse. Now, can you say that it is kind of his fault that she's, gotten to this state or originated from, again, the crestworms and all that? Yeah, I mean, that is his fault. It's all of his fault in that regard, but there's nothing that can be done, nothing that he can do to influence anything in terms of her actions or her health at this point. However, people are dying. It's not necessarily her fault, but her being alive will continue to put others at risk. More people will die as long as she lives. And that's kind of where we stand right now. What does Shirou have to do in order to save Sakura, end the war, prevent, less people from dying if, we can just turn that number into zero? We're really in a tough spot here. I entered the living room.
あれ？シロ、今玄関側の廊下から来なかった？
Ilya is sitting alone in the living room.
ああ、ちょっと外に出てた。俺の留守中、なんかあったか？
何もなかったけど。ダメよ、シロ。部屋で休んでなきゃ。シロの体だって、サクラと同じぐらい危ないんだから。
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
うん。サンキュー。けどまあ、俺のはちゃんと布を巻いてれば大事はないから。
もう、そんなこと言ってると簡単に倒れちゃう。シロ、外で何かあったの？
いや、別に何も。
何もなくないわ。何をしてきたか知らないけど、そんなうつろな目で私と話なんかしないで。
She got mad at me. I must be making a really stupid face right now. No wonder Ilya is upset.
すまん。悩んでも仕方ないっていうのに、つい考え込んじまった。
I shake my head. Like Ilya says, I can't afford to space out. I can't face Sakura looking this pathetic either, so I'd better man up.
うん、合格。よしよし、少しは元気出たみたいね。さて、それじゃあ聞きたいことは何？私でいいなら力になってあげるよ、シロ。
Oh man. Sometimes Ilya can be incredibly kind. And this is the second time that she's reached out to me when I was at my wit's end. It's hard to tell which of us is older now. Well, Ilya is a bit of a strange one because she acts like a child, she looks like a child, but I think she has a lot more maturity than really a lot of the characters that we've come across. It's very strange.
ああ。じゃあ聞いていいかな、イリア。
いいよ、何でも教えてあげる。シロが教えてほしいのはどんな？
聖杯。アインツベルの聖杯について教えてくれ。
そっか、知られちゃったか。シロには知られたくないことが2つあったけど、そのうちの1つよ。それ。
Wait, what? Well, what's the other thing?
イリア。それじゃあ、その。
うん、私は聖杯だよ。初めから人間じゃない。そういう風に作られたホムンクルス。
I mean, it's similar to like the, well, not necessarily similar. The two servants that Ilya has back over at her place, they're also homunculi. They're just not holy grails. A homunculus, an artificial human. In alchemy, there are ways to create life from various magical components without needing a mother to give birth. Born from less than respectable methods, homunculi are physically feeble as a general rule. They're alive like humans and look like humans, but they aren't human. And that's how a select few can be created with enormous magic circuits. As living creatures, they're frail, but as mages, no. As magic circuits, homunculi can greatly surpass humans. Oh, don't worry, guys. I've gotten my knowledge from FMA. We're good on that.
ハインツベルンは聖杯とマスター両方の機能を持った存在として私を育てたの。
I think it's time for a rewatch
聖
on
杯
that
の
too.
役目は倒されたサーバントの魂を回収すること。それだけに特化していれば別に人間でなくても極端な話シチュー鍋でも構わない。
Ilya speaks flatly, but this is the first time I've heard that the Holy Grail is meant to collect servants.
もっとも
I mean, we've heard
回収って
rumblings
いう
of
よ
that
りは
before.
帰還なんだけどサーバントは聖杯によって召喚された。なら倒された後は聖杯を通って帰るのが筋でしょ。この町にあるアインツベルンの聖杯は私だけだから本当ならみんな私が回収している。
Okay, but is that how things were kind of going down in the first couple of routes? With Ilya, you know, pinned as the vessel? Of course, until Gilgamesh kind of stepped in and Unlimited Blade Works and kind of shoved Ilya's heart into Shinji.
けど私以外にも聖杯として機能しているやつがいたのね。気づいた時にはキャスターとランサーを取られてて引き寄せる力はそっちの方が強くなってたの。だからほとんどのサーバントはそいつに取られたわ。アーチャーだけは私の目の前で消えたからきちんと回収できたんだけど。
She doesn't need to explain the rest. The other Holy Grail is Sakura. According to Ilya, Sakura has already taken in Caster and Lancer, even Saber and Berserker too.
サーバント4人分の魂。けどイリア、そんなものを押さえつけておけるのか。人間の体には1人分の魂しか入らないんだろ、原則として。
She's not human, man.
ええ、それが英霊ならなおのことよ。クラスという殻を失い純粋な魂となったサーバントの魔力は膨大だわ。一つ取り込むだけで体の中に台風が生まれるようなものよ。それを最終的に7つ集めるのが聖杯の機能。そこに入れ物自体の魂の入る余地なんてない。今までの聖杯が魂のない無機物だったのはそのためなの。聖杯の機能は英霊7人分の魂を回収してそれを統括し管理すること。そこに余分なプログラムは走らない。聖杯の人格なんてものは聖杯の機能にかき消されてしまうだけ。つまりね、シロ、聖杯が完成すればするほど人間としての機能が消えていくの。
Which is what we're seeing out of Sakura here.
それは私だって同じ。サーバントを回収してそれが多くなれば多くなるほど制御のために人間の機能をカットしていく。手足を動かす魔力をカットすればその分精密に魂を制御できる。呼吸をしなければ取り込んだ魂を外部に漏らすこともなくなる。人格を形成している部分を全て演算に回せば魂の統合も安定する。それは桜も同じよ。聖杯になってしまえばもう人間の人格なんて走らない。人間でいるなんてそんな余裕はなくなってしまう。ただそうね、私と桜の違いがあるとしたら私は自分の意志で切り替えるけど桜はただ書き換えられていくだけってこと。
Ilya explains it all without a hint of emotion. Ilya knew all along. She's probably known since she was born. No, even before that. Her life was created purely for this absurd purpose. Still, there's a silver lining in this. I breathe a sigh of relief and look up gratefully.
どうしたのシロ。私桜はもう助からないって言ったのよ。
I know that, but still.
イリアとサクラは2人で分け合ってるんだろ。ならイリアはまだ。
そうね。ほとんど桜に取られちゃったから、イリアでいることに支障はないわ。ライダーとアサシン、あの二人を取り込んでも、人間としての機能を削る必要はないかな。
Right, that's the one saving grace of this situation. If I were to lose Ilya too, it would mean that I failed to protect even a single person.
シロ、
I realize I'm hugging Ilya. I never made her any promises, nor did she ask for anything.
シロ。
Her body is small and I can't hug her too hard. It's a one-sided embrace. I feel with my own fingers the weight of someone whom I must protect. It has been brought to my attention, by the way, and probably multiple times, that there was supposed to be some form of an Ilya story here in Fate, but that seemed to have been cut down to just, we have Sakura's route, and then there is a little bit of a focus here on Ilya, which would explain why the endings that we can get from this route are dictated based on the brownie points that we collect from Sakura and Ilya. So I definitely do see that. And it is nice that we are learning more about both. They are very similar in this way. In a, really fucked up way, but similar nonetheless. It's 2 p.m. I make a late lunch and bring it to Sakura's room.
さて、
I remove my apron and place a bowl of okayu on a tray. I take one deep breath and completely still my heart. I don't know what I'll say if I see Sakura in my current condition. That wouldn't be good. If she notices my inner turmoil, it'll make her suffer even worse than me. I need to cool my emotions so that I don't say anything careless. This will probably be the last time. It's our last chance to meet and look at each other, like we always have. At the very least, I want this precious time to end with a smile.
さくら、起きてるか？遅くなったけど、昼にしよう。
I knock and enter the room. Sakura looks like she was sleeping, but her face lights up when I come in.
はい。来てもらえて嬉しいです、先輩。
She smiles warmly, looking genuinely happy. Time passes. Sakura's body is on the mend. She's well enough to sit up and eat her okayu on her own. We spend lunchtime leisurely, chatting about nothing important. Sakura goes back to her bed and continues talking to me. Maybe she's sleepy after eating. That's all. This is all I can do for her now. Sakura looks lively now. Her breathing is steadier now, and the color has returned to her cheeks. I'd have a hard time believing someone who told me that she only has a few days left to live.
でも私、風邪ってあんまりひいたことないんです。昔から体だけは頑丈で、寝込んだことなんてなかったんですよ。
The topic turns from disliking cold medicine to Sakura telling me how healthy she normally is. Apparently, she's never been a sickly person, and anytime she came close to catching a cold, she would overcome her symptoms through sheer willpower.
気合って、暖かくして安静にしていたとか？いや、それじゃ気合を入れるってニュアンスじゃないよな。なんだろう、風で気合を入れるって。
Well, it is also a mental thing, too.
いえ、それは割と恥ずかしい話なので秘密です。
Sakura gives me a rare shy giggle. It sounds like Sakura was a feisty kid in a different way than I was.
だから風邪薬は嫌いっていうより信用できないっていうか、飲み薬は効き目がわからないから逆に不安になりませんか？
ああ、子供の頃はそうだったかな。苦いのを我慢して飲んだのに治らなくて、体が痛いのも熱があるのも得体の知れない薬のせいにしてたっけ。
I've actually never felt that way ever in my life. Sakura agrees enthusiastically with an, I know, right? Her smile is almost enough to make me imagine that she's well enough to be back on her feet tomorrow. I do my best to quash that wishful thinking. Sakura won't get better. I can't keep hoping that she'll get better and everything will go back to normal and keep delaying my decision.
なあ、さくら。
Maybe I ask this because I've accepted the cold hard reality.
体が治ったらさ、さくらは何がしたい？
Aw, man. I start imagining what if, and ask her about fantasies of the future.
私のやりたいことですか？
さくらがとにかく楽しいって思えることだ。何でもいいぞ。ただ聞いてるだけだから実現できる可能性はなしの方針で。
ちょっと待ってください。
Sakura's gaze wanders, her face troubled. She pauses to think.
なんかこれと言ってないみたいです。別に今のままでいいっていうか、先輩といられればそれでいいかなって。
Honestly, I enjoy the simplicities in life. I'm always down to just, if there's people I want to be with, I would just rather, keep things simple, even if it means just the simplest of things for the rest of my life, if I'm around the people that I really want to be around for the rest of my life. I totally get it. She answers shyly, her cheeks flushing. My vision narrows. I use my stilled heart to quash the urge to pick her up and hug her.
あれは今まで何一つ自分のための行いなどしてこなかった。
Damn that old man. It's not that she never tried. She just doesn't know. She doesn't know what it means to do something fun. She doesn't know what she wants because she's never lived a normal life. She values the small things so much because she's never known normal happiness.
先輩、どうかしましたか？
Honestly, I just value everything, big or small. Anything that comes my way because, I don't know, you just never know what could happen in life, and it's scary to imagine a situation like what's going on here, where everything can be taken from you. Your life in general just grabbed and thrown into the fucking Holy Grail, baby.
ちょっと考え事。
She still hasn't done anything. Sakura doesn't know what it means to aspire to something, or to feel the need to obtain something. She doesn't laugh when she's outside. She doesn't make friends. She's only known closed-off spaces like the Mato house and mine. I'd pay any price to change that.
先輩、やっぱりおかしいです。左手、痛むんですか？
いや、そうじゃない。さくら、このゴタゴタが終わったらどこか遠くに行こう。今までどこかに遊びに行くとかなかっただろ。たまには遠出して騒ぐのもいい。
That reminds me of like the let's run away type of deal that the first season of ReZero had. And like, it's not realistic, and this isn't realistic either. As happy and cool as it would be from a certain perspective, it's still just, it's just not gonna happen. Sakura looks at me curiously. Her surprised silence at my sudden suggestion gives the impression that she's wondering if this is a dream.
決まりだ。さくらはどこに行きたい？
どこって、
She looks panicked. She can't come up with an answer. Still, perhaps she found a wish within herself.
どこでもいいんですよね。
She timidly looks up at me.
いいよ。人間、その気になればいけないところなんてない。
I meant it seriously, but Sakura seems to have taken it as a joke. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw, I made a YouTube post about it, but next year I do plan on going to Japan, which is a huge jump for me, I've never done anything that crazy. I've been out of my state, twice, but now it's time to leave the country. And it's as Shirou said, it's a little exaggerated, but yeah, if you set your mind to it, you really can do a whole lot and you can go wherever. She laughs.
じゃあ、お花見とかしたいです、私。
She voices a modest wish in a graceful tone.
花見？花見ってあの花見か？
はい。このお屋敷でもできますけど、あるのは梅の木だけですから。天気のいい日に広い野原で先輩とお花見がしたいです。
そっか。それは確か。
Like an incredibly fun time. It would be nice to go look at the springtime trees at the park under the bridge on a bright blue day without any clouds. There's countless fun things we could do. Hanami would be a perfect first outing for Sakura.
よし。じゃあ約束だ。さくらの体が治って、このゴタゴタが終わったら、二人で行こう。
Sakura flashes a contented smile. We exchange a promise, and then I slowly stand up. Yeah, it would be a dream come true if that could happen. A dream of my own happiness, which I've never had ever since that fire 10 years ago. I leave the guest room. All that's left is that humble promise. It isn't only Sakura's wish, it's mine too. Once April comes, I will grant it as many times as it takes. A warm illusion forms in my cold heart. Winter will end someday, and we'll go look at the cherry blossoms together once the new spring comes. Yeah, totally. 100%, right? Is it nighttime? It is definitely getting nighttime. Night has come, and it's time to make a decision. We aren't going out on patrol. Tosuka's totally exhausted after spending the entire day making a mold of the jeweled sword. She's resting in her room. The same goes for Ilya. After the three of us ate dinner in silence, we went off to our respective bedrooms. It's 10 o'clock at night. If history is any indication, the shadows should be moving soon. I stand up without making any noise. I pick up a knife from the kitchen counter and leave the room. Oh, fuck, dude. The door isn't locked. I quietly open it and walk up to the bed. I mean, Ryder has to be here, right? Sakura's sleeping. That's all I know. I can't tell just by looking if her condition is improved or worsened. Something's wrong with my eyesight. Sakura is sleeping right in front of me, but I can't tell what face she's making. I fight down my dizziness and shaking. Make up your mind. Even as I stand here, the shadow might be attacking people in town right now. The most direct way to defeat it is to kill Sakura right now. I mean, it's a thought that Shirou can't even come up with. Even if it isn't her fault, someone else will get hurt unless I do it. People could die. Innocent people unable to resist. Even Sakura, who never asked to commit these sins. I raise the knife. My mouth is dry. My tongue feels like cardboard. The blade is cold and unfeeling. I don't know if we're actually going to be given the choice here, guys. I think this is all a part of the story. When I imagine this thin strip of metal, which only exists to be sharp, plunging into the soft flesh of Sakura's living human throat, my eyes go numb. Like the feeling of falling onto a flathead screwdriver that happened to be bouncing up and stabs me directly in one of my eyeballs. The numb pain of going blind rips the meninges, I have no idea what that is, off of my brain, like when someone removes the peel off of an orange. My senses are going haywire. The fingers that are gripping the knife look like they're being bent backwards by an unseen force, like telekinesis in the movies. I ignore it and grip the knife harder. Oh, here we go. I let the knife fall. Sakura doesn't move. Her eyelids are trembling as if in terror, but she doesn't try to avoid the knife. The keen silver edge falls towards her pale neck. It bites deep. Oh shit, yeah, we did not get a choice in the matter. It happens. Did someone start a fire? The gushing red reminds me of a sudden geyser of water. Oh, I don't think we were I think we were the ones that, you know, Shirou's dying here. I fall to my knees. I hear a wheezing sound. It's a wet noise coming from my throat, not Sakura's. Yeah, I was gonna say, Ryder is here. I see. Even if Sakura accepts her death, she won't allow it. I try to stab Sakura in her helpless state, but she directs the knife toward me, who's even more defenseless. It doesn't hurt. In fact, it feels liberating. But I'm left with one final regret. After I'm gone, who will atone for Sakura's sins? Okay, so we get a bad ending here. What was the last choice I made? I don't even remember. Oh, it was to whether or not we should go see Zoken. Was meeting with Zoken actually what, like, steered us into this path? It's possible. Let's see what gets said here. It's impossible. I'm sure the door was locked from the inside when Miss Fujimura entered the room. Wait, what is this? Miss Fujimura, Lady Ilya and I are the only ones in the room.
けど一体どうやって私たち以外にこの部屋にいる人はいないのよ。
方法は2つ。1つは好感度不足による事故ね。ここに至ってさくらちゃんの好感度が低かった被害者はさくらちゃんが趣味で飾っていたギロチンをベッドと間違え、そこで眠ってしまったんでしょうね。
なるほど。確率的には薄いけど十分あり得る話ね。
Wait, did I not get enough brownie points?
さくら、そういう趣味してるもの。
I see. Sakura-chan has some troublesome tastes. I never would have expected the bed to suddenly turn into a guillotine as soon as I lie down in it.
ええ。だから解決策としては
What the fuck?
9日目からやり直して。
Holy shit, we have to go back. Oh my god.
もう一つは外的要因による直接犯行。被害者は加害者でもあったの。彼はここでさくらちゃんを殺そうとした。けど壁に仕掛けてあった防犯機能、投げナイフが発動して返り討ちに遭ってしまった。
Yeah, I don't think it's specifically a deterrent to that, but whatever.
ミシシッピーシステムね。そんなものを仕掛けておくなんて。さくら、怖い子。
They come up with a heated deduction, but then I realize there's another MO they failed to think of. It's like this. Let's rewind to the morning of the previous day. What if my death was set in stone from the moment I answered no to Tosaka's question?
ともかく事件は解決したわ。行きましょう、イリアスフィール卿。あとは警察に任せてこの呪われた館から立ち去るのです。
ええ。けど後味の悪い事件だったわね。
The actors depart. Only my corpse remains on the stage. Thus I conclude, let this be the last time we use this tortured gag in the utterly absurd Tiger Dojo, where nothing ever gets solved with logic. It was actually the most straightforward shit ever. Okay, so I don't know. We've got a few options here. This one's a little bit of a strange one, actually. So we can go back to the last choice that had to be made here, and it's to say no to meeting with Zoken. This, however, could lead to another bad ending. So let's take a look at our flow chart here. So, oh yeah, look at that. There is a split off here. There is. So let's actually go back just a smidge to make sure that I didn't split off in a way that, like... Okay, this is day 9, right? No, this is day 11. So where's day 9? What happens on day 9? It's been a while. This is day 10. Day 9, oh my god, day 9 goes way back. Though I really do feel like I always did things in the best interest of Sakura. Like, look at this. I especially did here. Day 9 is when we start figuring things out, it seems. Here I'm missing something. I could have gotten more brownie points with Sakura there. Okay. God damn, bro. This is a long-ass route compared to all the others. There's so many events that go on. It's actually insane. Okay. What bad ending was this, actually? You know what? Whatever. Out of curiosity, I do want to see, like, what we get out of not accepting this. I'm assuming it will be a bad ending as well, but let's see what sort of path that takes, because looking at the flowchart, it does go somewhere else here. It does not bridge off into the main line here. It will not bridge back in, I think. It might. It very might just, like, you know, somehow get us back in somehow, but I highly doubt it. So I guess while we're here, let's go ahead and get our bad ending. This is clearly a trap. I'm curious about what Zoken has to say, but I can't leave Sakura right now.
断る。お前の話は信用できない。話があるならそっちから来いと伝えろ。
I'm actually not really sure about that choice.
そうか。ではそのように伝えよう。
That's all Assassin says before he disappears. He's probably on the way back to Zoken by now.
これでいい。これでいいはずだ。
Uh-huh. Even if I got to meet Zoken alone, I have no way to defeat him. And he's a monster that can't be reasoned with. I shouldn't face Zoken until we have all of our weapons at the ready.
宝石剣か。
It's the name of the trump card that Tosuka and Ilya are trying to make. Archer's arm contains records of 1,000 or more famous magical swords, but this isn't among them.
けど、それを複製できれば勝てる。そう信じていいんだよな。
I rest my heavy body on the ground. I'm a little tired. I should sleep. Once I wake up, I can check on Sakura, make some food, and help Tosuka and Ilya with their work. Maybe. Okay, now it's nighttime. I awaken to the presence of dinner. Dinner has a presence, of course. It's the sound of the chef knife on a cutting board, the low chatter of the TV, and the smell of delicious food in the making. I find Sakura's pajamas, an empty bowl, and a wet towel in the room. I search my memory. Based on the situation, I checked on Sakura sometime in the afternoon. I try to recall the details, but stop. That doesn't matter now. It just slipped my mind, so it isn't worth thinking about now. Oh, us and our lovely gaps in our memory. Tosuka must be making dinner. Sakura and Ilya aren't here. Sakura must be in her bedroom while Ilya's in the tatami room.
あれ、戻ってきたの？疲れたから少し休むって出て行ったのに。
My face stiffens for an instant.
やっぱり手伝う。遠坂も疲れてるんだから、任せっきりは悪いしな。
I respond as naturally as I can to avoid suspicion.
バカね。気持ちは嬉しいけど、その腕じゃ包丁持てないでしょ。いいから今夜は私に任せなさい。
I hear the satisfying sound of knife on cutting board. Tosuka's finally slicing a lot of bell peppers. Maybe we're having vegetable stir fry tonight.
そうか。それじゃあ風呂の準備してくる。ついでに洗濯も済ませるから、洗濯物を回収していいかな。
バカ何言ってんのよあんた。そんなの自分でやるに決まってるでしょ。
The sound of the knife becomes fierce and gallant. Tosuka's cutting beef into chunks. Maybe we're having beef for dinner.
どっちなんだ一体。
I grumble as I start to make my way to the bathroom. Whatever we're having, I'm looking forward to the final... Uh-oh. The lights go out on their own.
これ停電？
そうみたいだな。明かりスイッチ入れてもつかないし。
そうよね。結界に反応はないんだから侵入者ってわけじゃないし。
Yeah, I don't know about that either, actually.
造剣が襲ってきたとしても、こんなことをすれば結界が。
No, we wouldn't. Yeah. Remember what happened this morning? Assassin might be able to breach the Emiya house's bounded field without setting it off.
ここにいろ遠坂。念のため様子を見てくれ。
ちょっと待って。行くなら私も行くわ。シロ一人じゃ危ないでしょ。
そうか。いや、それならさくらのところに行ってくれ。俺もイリアを連れてすぐに行くから。
わかった。さくらは任せてちょうだい。
I go to Ilya's tatami room. It's quiet, but the house feels the way it always does.
考えすぎだったかもな。これ、ただの停電だ。
Nah, man. If you're like in some crazy battle, you gotta be on edge. Even with something as simple as, a simple power outage, right? It may seem like it, but it may not actually be that. And still, I should wake Ilya up while I'm at it. Even if the power is out, it's almost time for dinner.
イリア、起きてるか？
I slide open the door. Uh-oh. I'm greeted by a vicious mural of bloodstains.
イリ
Ilya isn't here. All I see in the room is blood. I think I see something that looks like a bundle of silver thread in the corner of the blood-drenched room, but that isn't Ilya. It's not Ilya anymore. I run out of the room. My something mind has gone stone cold, and I head for the guest rooms. Sakura is in danger. I grasp the situation in a second without really understanding anything at all, and take the shortest path through the backyard. There. Oh, hi. I see something that shouldn't exist. It's like the story about the ghost under a willow tree. Why didn't the bounded field react? What is this thing doing here? Before I even process my own question, I lose any chance to flee, any avenue of escape. Shadows already covered the entire house. It's made of shadows, so there's no getting away from it in the lightless night. I learned that last night. The second I run into this thing, my life is over. The ribbon-like tentacles impale me through the chest like a crowbar. It easily tears me open like a blooming red flower. What the fuck is this sound effect? Jesus. This must be how Ilya stopped being Ilya. Petals gush out in a red spray. Shirou Emiya's body has no way to stop itself from being instantly torn to pieces. God damn, bro. Can we, yeah, I was gonna say, can we stop with that, please? Jesus. All right, so, like I said, this was a bit of an intentional one. Like, this had to have been a bad ending, and it was. It 100% was. But let's go through the Tiger Dojo regardless. Is this like an outdoor episode? What's going on here? Oh no, just a fun scene. What's going on back here, you know?
あれ師匠怖い話ダメだったっけ
うん、怖い。おへそ取られる。だからわし帰るで。
What?
ちょっとダメよタイガ。師範代なんだからちゃんと指導しないと。そんな弱腰じゃ道場破りが来た時どうするのよ。
来ないよ。10年間道場にいるけど、そんな素敵な人が来たことないもの。だからわし帰るで。なんか嫌な予感するんや。
なぜ関西弁？あれ師匠道場破り来たよ。
よし、帰ってもらいなさい。
なんでよ。いつもの師匠なら。やったー。本当に生きてるうちに生道場破りに入るなんて。って砂漠で自販機発見したみたいに狂気するはずなのに。
だから嫌な予感がするんだってば。そもそもさ、今回のデッドエンドのブロック名からして嫌な予感が。
It is? It is creepy? Oh, hello.
私こういう正体がないのダメ。あ、知ってる。こういうの異種格闘技戦って言うんだよね。
Yeah, sure.
頑張れタイガー。頑張れね。
ほら、あなたの相手はそこのブルマッコですよ。萌え指数でいけば優に私の10倍はあろうか強キャラ。グルメなあなたも根こそぎにございます。
Moe points, huh? See, it just wants to eat.
うひゃー、悪霊大佐。
文句、誰か文句読んで。
はい、そんなわけで始まりましたタイガ vs 黒い影。今のところ黒い影が優勢のようですが、タイガも去るものだんだんと開き直ってきた模様です。
Aren't we supposed to be like getting assistance on like the choice we need to be making here?
噛んだ。タイガ取り込まれながらも逆に取り込んでいるようです。戦えてる。師匠、あいつと戦えています。うわー、バビロニアの神よ、我に力を与えたまえ。ま、別にそんなのどうでもいいけどね。あんなのとまともに戦っても負けるだけなんだから、シローを真似しちゃダメよ。シローがやらなくちゃいけないのはあの影の正体を探ること。
Yes, I gathered on that one.
補欠にいらず魔古女を得ず。 直前の選択肢に戻ってアサシンの誘いに乗ってみなさい。やっぱりダメ。タップ。
ヘイレフリー、私タップしてるね。
じゃあね。
Yeah, so again, we all knew that we needed to
うまくいけば私が師範代になってるよ。
Oh, you will. Cool. Okay, yeah, we can go back to the most recent point, but it doesn't really matter. We're actually kind of, stuck here. So we'll go back to the title because I also just want to look and see where we're at on bad endings. Just out of curiosity, but I also need to load the game anyways. All right, where are we at here in the ending list? Okay, so we just got these two, right? I'm pretty sure we did. So I've been actually like doing a really good job of avoiding a lot of bad endings. That's pretty impressive on my part. But there's still 5 more to go, which is also kind of an indication of like how much more we have left here in this. Okay, so I was told that I should have a save point here on this choice here. This one is a bit of a strange one, actually, and it was referenced, I believe, in that bad ending. But I think I made the right choice here. Also, somebody in the comments did say that this can lead to a bad ending eventually, and if that's the case, I guess we might as well get it. I mean, while we're here, right? But I do also want to see what happens if we agree to this. And if this doesn't allow us to continue on, then yeah, I guess we have to go back to at least day 9, or at most day 9, and do everything we can to make sure we're getting the Sakura brownie points, because I just don't have enough or whatever. It might just be that one choice that I pointed out in the flowchart, actually. It might just be that one that I'm missing. But yeah, let's unleash our arm. That sounds fun.
それでどうにかなるんなら
I scrounge up every bit of strength and grit, and
遠坂の方針に従う。この布外せばいいんだな。
I managed to make myself nod.
そう。やっぱりそうきたわけ。
なんだよ遠坂。今の答えじゃ不満か？
別にあんたに脅しなんて意味なかったって再確認したところ、正外符を外してもいいだなんてあっさり言うとは思わなかっただけで、答え自体には満足よ。
Tosaka huffs and turns away, clearly unhappy.
変だぞ遠坂。こっちが覚悟を決めてうなずいたっていうのに、俺が悪いみたいじゃないか。
変なのは私の方よ。その答えを欲しがったのに、いざ言われたら頭にくるなんてどうかしてる。
She's so hard to read in a case like this, because I truly believe that I made the right choice with the other one, and I still stand by it here. But, like, come on, I don't know. She's always just trying to be in the right, you know?
さっきも言ったけど、私はあなたにアーチャーの腕なんて使わせない。それは決して正外符を外させないってことよ。あなたの覚悟を試した私が言えることじゃないけど、二度と正外符を外すなんて言わないで。それを外すってことは、もう戻れなくなるってことだから。
Oh, okay, now we can skip. Okay. So we're not actually taking the shroud off. However, by choosing something different there, what does that mean? You know, what will that lead to later down the line, right?
さて、
Wait a minute. Did we get this interlude before? The two sisters leave the dojo and enter the yard.
どういうつもり、さくら。体が悪いんだから、おとなしく部屋で休んでいるんじゃなかったの？
Rin Tosaka looks down on the girl with an icy glare rather than concern. Sakura Mato uneasily drops her gaze. Neither of them exchange any words. Rin sternly scolds Sakura for poking her nose where it doesn't belong, while Sakura can't find the will to say anything due to her feelings in indebtedness and inferiority.
さくら、エミヤくんが心配になって見に来たのなら戻りなさい。それだけの理由なら私も見なかったことにしてあげるから。
Sakura trembles slightly. The older sister's rebuke is severe. She knows full well how insecure and gloomy Sakura is, even as she drives at her. Goddamn.
違います姉さん。私はただ。
Even as she feels pressured by Rin, Sakura works up her resolve to stand up to the big sister whom she looks up to so much. However,
説明は不要よ。私は部屋に戻れって言っているの。ここで何を言われようが、あなたを道場に入れることだけはしないから。
Rin cuts her off mid-sentence.
そんな、中に入れないってどうしてですか？どうしても何もないわ。マスターとして行動するとき、私たちにとってあなたは敵でしかないだけ。いい？さくら。戦闘に参加せず、ライダーでこの家を守ろうが、あなたが造剣の手駒であることに変わりはないの。そんな相手の前で鍛錬なんてできるわけないでしょ。
All Sakura can do is stand there and take the cold lecture. Rin just genuinely believes what she says. Now, unlike Shirou, she's constantly on guard against Zoken's next move. Or perhaps, she's absolutely sure that Sakura will turn on them. Sakura bites her lip in frustration. As Rin says, they don't know when Zoken will take action. With each passing day, her body becomes harder to control, and her memories more scattered. Even her sleep is plagued with nightmares. And no longer the peaceful respite it once was. She could indeed lose her mind at any moment.
そういうこと。何よりそんな魔力不足の体でうろつかれちゃ迷惑よ。今のあなたはいつ倒れるかわからない。まあ、今は落ち着いているようだから倒れたりしないだろうけど、無理をすればするほどエミヤくんが心配するわ。そうなれば彼、今以上に追い詰められるわよ。
Rin's logic is completely sound. Frustrated by her own powerlessness, Sakura stares at the ground again.
分かってくれた？なら早く戻りなさい。お昼になったら呼びに行くから、それまでちゃんと休んでること。
She nods meekly. Rin turns her back on her little sister. The gesture seems to declare that Sakura Moto is a nuisance.
待ってください、姉さん。何？まだ何かあるの？はい。姉さんの話は分かりました。私も部屋には戻ります。けど、ちゃんと聞かせてください。姉さんは、先輩に何をさせる気なんですか？姉さん、先輩はもう戦えないって分かってるんでしょ？なのに今日も先輩を呼び出して、これ以上何をさせようって言うんです。
Rin stops in her tracks.
何って魔術講座よ。このままじゃ造剣にもセーバーにもあの黒い影にも勝てないでしょ。だからシローにはアーチャーの腕から魔術を引き出してもらう。アーチャーの腕は経験値の塊だからね。正外符の拘束を緩めれば、シローが眠っていても一方的に経験値が流れ込んでいって強引にレベルアップさせられるでしょ。
Sakura's a mage too, so she understands how reckless of an idea that is. What her sister is trying to do to Shirou is nothing but torture, like trying to force 100 liters of fuel into his 10-liter tank. Of course, the excess gasoline is bound to spill out, and even if they pour 10,000 points of experience into him, they can only retain 10. It will only cause him suffering. All Shirou will gain is less than a tenth of the agony he's forced to taste. And more importantly, a normal mind could never endure such an experience. If a mud doll faces a tidal wave, it will be washed away without a trace. That's what it means to loosen that holy shroud.
じゃです。そんなことを続けたら先輩の体が持たない。それだけじゃない。先輩は姉さんを信じています。信じてるからそんな無茶なことだって受け入れる。けどそんなことをしていたら結局最後には姉さんの一言であの布だって外してしまうに決まってます。さくら。
She doesn't look down this time. Sakura glares defiantly at her sister, her ideal.
そうね。けどさくら、私が言わなくてもあいつは自分から正外符を外してたわ。さっき話しててそれが分かっちゃった。ほんとどうかしてるわ。私がどんな風に忠告してもね、きっと最後には何でもないことみたいに外しちゃうのよ、あいつ。
Slightly off topic, but I noticed, and I don't know if it's a CG error. However, the CG of Shirou and Emiya when they were walking back after doing some grocery shopping, Yeah, the shroud is not on Shirou. Like, you could see his bare hand. His whole arm was definitely not wrapped up. Or his whole arm was... Well, it's possible that his arm was wrapped up, but his hand definitely wasn't when it was when we first saw the shroud. I don't know if that's a CG error or if that's what Rina's talking about here.
姉さん。そう。それがわかるから、そんなことをしなくてもいい方法を提示するしかなかった。外さなくてもなんとかなるって知っていれば、あいつだってギリギリまで我慢するでしょ。だから私の役目は、そのギリギリのうちに戦う道具を作らせること。それが終わればシロを休ませる。閉じ込めてでもおとなしくさせて、聖杯戦争が終わるまで戦わせないわ。
Her sister is telling the truth. Rin Tosaka is being as considerate as she can. But that's only within her own heart. Sakura is the heir to an equally old lineage, so she knows her sister has other priorities.
姉さん。姉さんが先輩を案じてくれているのはわかります。けれど、姉さんはそれだけです。もし今の方法でおじい様を倒せないとわかれば、姉さんはきっと使う。あなたは遠坂の魔術師ですから。勝つため、魔術師としての規律を守るためなら、姉さんは先輩を道具として使う人間です。
Yeah, it's not a question, just a statement of fact. The Tosaka heiress closes her eyes.
ええ、今の方法が失敗して、ゾウケンとあの影が昨夜のような強行を繰り返すなら、シロにはアーチャーの腕を使ってもらう。
She lays it out boldly.
そんなの勝手です。先輩は初めから聖杯なんて欲しがっていなかった。マスターになったのだって偶然じゃないですか。はあ、何か勘違いしてるみたいね、さくら。いい？私はシロに無理強いなんてしていないし、そもそも本当ならシロに発言権はないの。シロは私のアーチャーから腕をもらって一命を取り留めた。その後もあの腕に耐えながら受け入れている。ならその時点であいつの命は私のものでしょ。シロにあの腕がある限り、あいつは私のアーチャーなの。わかる？この戦いが終わるまでシロは私の使い魔ってこと。さくらに口出しされる言われはないわ。私はあいつが戦いを望む以上、全力で力を貸すし、貸
Just
してもらう
saying
だ
it
けなん
how
だ
it
から。
is. And I don't fully agree, but... And maybe she doesn't fully agree with what she's saying. She can't come up with a retort. Awed by her sister's confidence, the girl stands there unable to say anything in reply.
話はそれだけ？じゃあ部屋に戻りなさい。ここにいられたら迷惑だって言ったでしょ。
Rin Tosaka turns and goes back to the dojo. The girl watches her go as if gazing at a distant landscape. This yard that should be so familiar to her seems huge. She feels like there's nothing in it, and nothing she can reach for. In the midst of her loneliness,
そう。先輩まで取っていってしまうの。姉さん。
uh-oh. She whispers in an empty voice. So now that we're seeing this interlude here, which I guess we missed? Huh. Like, I don't know where this will lead us, if it will actually truly change anything. We have new weapon data and new servant data. Okay, so I know where we're at now. Now we're going to do the shopping. And then we are doing the patrol. And there is the interlude. And now we're coming back home. And then there's a nightmare. And now it's day 13. And I'm being asked to save the game. And sure, why not? I'll save the game right here on this one. So now I've got 2 day 13 starts, which seem to both start in the same way. We'll keep on skipping along. There's the interlude. And we're back to this, which we need to accept. And what happens when we try to kill Sakura? Because that's the big one right there. Oh, Now we're given an option. Now we're actually given an option on the matter. Okay. Well, here we go. So I guess I did choose the wrong option. Hold on, I want to see the flowchart now. So, I mean, if we kill her, then we already saw where that goes. Like, there's really only one other thing we can do here. But if we go back here, yeah, there's this whole ass interlude that I missed here by choosing the no choice. But if we say yes, then we get this interlude and things kind of change a bit. Okay. Well, there we are. So, no suspense on this one. I'm just saving it here because this seems like a good spot to wrap it up before we truly continue on now that we actually are given the ability to. But we all know what choice I'm making in the next episode. We're not going to kill Sakura because if we try, well, then we're just going to die to Ryder. That's what's going to happen. But there we have it, guys. Did a little bit of jumping around because, I met a little bit of a brick wall, which I think is the first time that that's actually happened. All other times that I got a bad ending is just kind of going back, making another choice, and then we're good. Here we had to go back a little bit further. But it all worked out. It all worked out a-okay. So we'll get back to it in the next episode. We'll actually continue onward and see what happens because I think we're really getting to our turning point here. Things have to happen now more than ever. Thank you all for tuning in, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this one. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.